The council chamber fell silent as Commander Vrask'tel of the Galactic Peacekeeping Alliance slammed his six-fingered hand on the transparent table. His purple skin had turned a darker shade, which everyone knew meant trouble. "Let me get this straight," he hissed, his translator working overtime to keep up with his rising anger. "The humans trained their warriors for 13 weeks? 13. Captain Olenna from the 6th Fleet nodded slowly, her antennae twitching with what might have been amusement or terror. Nobody could quite tell. "Yes, sir. That is what the human sergeant told me. 13 weeks. Then, and I quote, they give them guns and grenades." A collective gasp rippled through the assembled officers. General Korthax, whose species took 47 years to complete basic combat training, actually choked on his nutrient solution. "That cannot possibly be accurate," Science Officer Bellera interjected, her three eyes blinking in rapid succession. "Our intelligence suggests that humans have an average lifespan of only 80 rotations. Surely they would not waste such precious time with inadequate preparation." "Oh, it gets better," Olenna continued, pulling up a holographic display. "I asked Sergeant Marcus Donovan, that is his name by the way, how they could possibly create competent soldiers in such a brief period. Do you know what he said?" The room waited. Someone coughed. Someone else's breathing apparatus wheezed nervously. "He laughed," Olenna said flatly. "He actually laughed. Then he told me, and again I quote, that 13 weeks is plenty of time to teach someone how to break things and kill people efficiently." "Efficiently," Vrask'tel repeated, his voice barely above a whisper. "Those were his exact words, Commander." Bellera's smallest eye narrowed as she manipulated the data streams floating before her. "This makes absolutely no sense from an evolutionary standpoint. The human homeworld, Earth, is already classified as a death world. Category 9. There are precisely 47 different species that actively try to kill humans on a daily basis. The weather alone should have wiped them out millennia ago. How do they survive with such minimal combat preparation?" "Perhaps," suggested Junior Lieutenant Fex, who really should have kept his mouth shut, "the humans are simply not very good at warfare." The temperature in the room seemed to drop several degrees. Olenna turned to face him with an expression that could curdle milk across 3-star systems. "Not good at warfare," she repeated slowly. "Junior Lieutenant, let me share something interesting with you. Last month, the Krell Dominion decided to test human resolve by attacking one of their outer colonies. Do you know what happened?" Fex's scales had started to turn a sickly yellow color. "No, Captain. The Krell sent their elite shock troops. 2,000 warriors, each with 70 years of combat experience, each weighing approximately 400 pounds of pure muscle, each carrying weapons that could punch through starship hulls. They faced a human garrison of 300 Marines who had completed, as we now know, 13 weeks of training. And?" someone asked from the back. "The Krell withdrew after 6 hours. They lost 1,400 troops. The humans lost 32. Olenna paused for effect. The human commander, a woman named Lieutenant Colonel Jessica Ramirez, sent the Krell general a message afterward. It said, "Thank you for the practice run. Please send more next time. We were just getting warmed up." The silence that followed was deafening. Vrask'tel had sat down, which was probably for the best since his legs appeared to have stopped working properly. "There must be something we are missing," Bellera insisted, her fingers flying across her data pad. "Some hidden factor, some genetic advantage, some technological edge we have not accounted for." "Oh, there is," Olenna confirmed. "I spent 3 weeks observing their training facility. Do you want to know what they do during those 13 weeks? Every head in the room nodded. "They break the recruits down completely. Physically, mentally, emotionally. They run them until their bodies scream for mercy. They teach them to fight with their hands, with knives, with rifles, with anything they can get their hands on. They teach them tactics, strategy, field medicine, and something they call improvised explosives." "Improvised explosives?" General Korthax interrupted, his voice cracking slightly. "You mean they teach their soldiers how to make weapons from random materials?" "Not just weapons," Olenna replied, pulling up another holographic file. "I watched a training exercise where recruits were given nothing but household chemicals and basic tools. Within 20 minutes, they had created 17 different types of explosive devices. Their instructor, a gunnery sergeant named Tyler Hayes, called it a slow day." Bellera's data pad slipped from her trembling fingers and clattered onto the floor. Nobody moved to pick it up. But here is the truly terrifying part. Olenna continued, her voice taking on a quality that made everyone lean forward despite their growing fear. The 13 weeks? That is just basic training. After that, they go to specialized schools. Infantry training, advanced weapons courses, leadership development, survival skills. And do you know what Sergeant Donovan told me when I asked how long those take? Please tell me it is at least a few years, Vrask'tel pleaded. A few months at most. Then they deploy them to combat zones. The room erupted into chaos. Officers were shouting, some in their native languages, others through their translators, which created a cacophony of panic. Vrask'tel had to activate the attention signal 3 times before order was restored. This is madness, General Korthax declared. How have they not destroyed themselves? How do they maintain discipline? How do they prevent their warriors from simply taking over? Olenna smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. That is the genius of it. They instill something called esprit de corps during those 13 weeks. A bond stronger than family, stronger than logic, stronger than self-preservation. I watched Marines who had completed training just months earlier throw themselves on grenades to save their squad mates. I saw them carry wounded comrades through enemy fire for hours without stopping. They have this saying, leave no one behind. Suicidal loyalty, Bellera whispered. They weaponize their social bonding instincts. Not suicidal, Olenna corrected. Strategic. Every human Marine knows that their brothers and sisters in arms will do the same for them. It creates a fighting force that simply does not break, does not surrender, does not quit. Ever. Junior Lieutenant Fex, who had somehow found his courage again, raised a shaky hand. Captain, if I may ask, what was your conclusion after observing them? Olenna's expression grew distant, as if remembering something she wished she could forget. On my last day at the training depot, I watched a graduation ceremony. Fresh Marines, most of them barely adults by human standards, standing in perfect formation. Sergeant Donovan was there. I asked him one final question. I said, these young humans, they look so fragile, so unprepared for the horrors of war. How can you send them into battle with such minimal preparation? The entire council held their breath. He looked at me with these cold, hard eyes and said, Ma'am, we do not send them into battle unprepared. We send them into battle as Marines. Then he gestured to the graduates and added, every one of these kids can shoot, move, and communicate under fire. They can render aid under enemy contact. They can adapt to any environment, overcome any obstacle, and complete any mission we give them. And if that is not enough, they have something no amount of training can teach. They are human. Vrask'tel stood slowly, his entire body radiating defeat. What are you saying, Captain? I am saying, Commander, that we have spent centuries building our forces on the assumption that longer training equals better soldiers. The humans have proven something far more terrifying. They have discovered that you do not need decades of preparation when your species is already forged in the fires of a death world. 13 weeks is not about teaching humans to be dangerous. It is about teaching them to be organized, disciplined, and pointed in the right direction. The dangerous part? That comes standard. General Korthax cleared his throat nervously. So what do? How do we respond to this intelligence? Olenna shut down her holographic display and looked around the room at the assembled officers, leaders of dozens of species, each representing billions of citizens across hundreds of worlds. We make absolutely certain, she said quietly, that humanity remains our ally. Because if they ever become our enemy, those 13-week trained Marines with their guns and grenades will go through us like plasma through paper. And they will do it with a smile on their faces, because Sergeant Donovan told me one more thing before I left. What? Vrask'tel asked, though he clearly did not want to know the answer. He said the Marines have a motto, Semper Fidelis. It means always faithful, but they also have an unofficial saying. Every Marine is a rifleman. Every Marine is deadly. Every Marine is ready. And Commander, she paused. They are always recruiting. The council chamber fell silent once more. Outside, through the massive viewports, Earth hung in the darkness of space like a blue-green jewel. Beautiful, peaceful, absolutely terrifying. Somewhere down on that planet, another group of recruits was starting week 1 of 13. In 3 months, they would graduate. They would receive their guns and grenades. and the galaxy would have a few hundred more reasons to sleep with one eye open. So what did you think? Did this story surprise you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this sci-fi story, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing science fiction stories every week. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story. Rocket.